Hope is the oxygen of the soul. Jesus said, I have power to lay down my life, and I have power to take it again. John chapter 10, verse 18. Now, in the previous video, I spoke about the remarkable fact that Jesus not only had power to give his life, but also power to take it again. It's a most remarkable truth. The Father raised Jesus from the dead, but Jesus had the choice to agree or not. I think I can say that without being disrespectful to the truth. There was this cooperation between the Father and the Son. The Son, if you like, had to agree to take up his life again. And then I imagine the Father gave him that power. We don't know. It's a mystery, a sacred mystery of how the resurrection happened. But we do know that the Father raised Jesus from the dead, and we also know that Jesus had the power to take up his life again. This is a wonderful and relevant truth for all of us. It's relevant for us in our everyday lives because Christ lives in us and wants to bring us abundant life in every corner of the mansion of our lives. No sealed room of painful memories. You know, the dreaded West Wing that was always in those big old mansions. The West Wing where nobody ever goes and the doors are locked, have been locked for years. We don't have places like that because we have Christ within us, the hope of glory. Christ within us, the power to take back our lives after the most awful disappointments, after bereavement, after illness and sorrow. And if you're not a Christian and you're listening to this video, then you too can ask Jesus to help you. You can ask him to help you in whatever painful situation you're in. And I guarantee he will help you. Just ask him and trust him, and he will lead you, and he will guide you, and he will love you, and he will surround you with all kinds of salvations, all kinds of deliverances. And you'll become so grateful to Jesus that I think you'll want him to live in your life for good. And you can give your life to him, and he will not turn you away. He'll receive your life, and he'll give you his life to be in you. You'll never be the same, and I guarantee you'll never regret it. And I speak from over 50 years experience. I've never, ever, ever looked back and never shall. Back to our point. This ability, the ability to rise up in newness of life from the wreckage of a tragedy, an illness, a loss, you know, the sort of thing. This ability is particularly strong with the Jewish people. I don't know if you've noticed that. But these people should have disappeared, not just hundreds of years ago, but thousands of years ago. They've been threatened like no other people on the earth. And yet here they are still with us. I think they learned something from the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And God has put that ability within them, the power to come back, to take back their lives after the most difficult sufferings. Now, I've got a story. Just listen to this. 40 years after his survival from the Holocaust, the death camps in Germany and Poland, in which this man had lost his wife, his many children, he had a big family, they had all died in the Holocaust, and his wider family, his brothers and sisters, aunts and uncles, and his cousins. He had lost everybody and was now, by a miracle, he had survived somehow. And the interviewer, speaking to this lovely man, she said to him, she said, did you ever want revenge? And he was such a fine-looking man. We all thought, well, I thought anyway, I thought he's going to say, no, never wanted revenge. But he surprised me. Yes, he said, I wanted revenge. It was a surprising answer. But then he went on to say, he took up a photograph album and he opened it up and he showed the interviewer a photograph of him with a wife, a number of children, many grandchildren, and even some great-grandchildren in arms in the foreground of the picture. This, he said, is my revenge. It's a wonderful story, isn't it? A lovely story. He overcame evil with good. He overcame death with life. Marvelous story. You see, he dared to walk out of the grave. He chose to do it. That's important. He chose to do it. That's faith. The devil had tried to destroy him, but he chose life instead of self-pity and bitterness. He could have died with that bitterness. The death could have closed him up into himself and become a bitter old man, but no way, no way. It's a great story, and it's a great example for us. Now, let me tell you something very interesting. I think you'll find this interesting. The calendar of the Jewish people is ruled by the phases of the moon. The new moon marks the first day of every month. That's when the moon can't be seen. It's kind of disappeared, so to speak, because the sun is at an angle that we can't see it shining on the moon. That's when each new month begins. And then throughout the month, it grows and grows and grows until it's at the full moon in the middle of the month. And then it begins to wane, diminish. And then it becomes almost invisible again, the start of another month. Now, this is important. These are called the phases of the moon, and they've got a name for all these different phases. Now, why is this important? What's it got to do with all these stories about coming back from death and having the power to rise up again? Well, unlike the sun, the moon changes. Israel, the nation and the individual, accepts that life has cycles. They accept that fact. It has cycles. There are times when we feel swallowed in darkness or troubles or regrets, all kinds of things. We become swallowed up by them, as it were. But we don't worry, because it marks a new beginning. The moon may not be able to be seen, but it's the start of a new month. We will grow once again into full life, the way the moon does into the center of the month. The darkness will pass and be remembered no more. Another dark time may approach, but we've learned, like the moon, that weeping may tarry for the night, but joy cometh in the morning. You see, this is called hope. Hope is the oxygen of the soul. Like Jesus, we have the power to take up our lives in every area. No room surrendered to the thief. No room surrendered to the thief. Sometimes we may even have to give ourselves a good talking to, a good shaking, as it were. I think even the psalmist said this at times. Rise up, he said, O soul. And he's given himself a good talking to. And as I said before, Jesus came to Peter and said, take it. Didn't use those words, but it was that sort of thing. He was giving Peter a robust talk. Don't let it get you down, Peter. Take up your life again. You have power to take it up again. I give you that power. Yes, we've all been depressed. Yes, we've all wept. We've been afraid of even remembering some things. When we go to bed at night, we get afraid of it sometimes. But there's two words to always remember. But God. But God. He makes all the difference. We shall live and not die. And even if we die, we shall rise again, because we have the power to take up our lives again, because we have the power of Christ within. And as I say once again, if you haven't got Christ in your life, invite him in. Invite him in. He loves you and he can help you. Hope to see you in the next video.